Hebrew Israelites come out every night prophesying downfall of this society, America. Show these people on the sign who they are according to the Bible, and to tear down false doctrines. Right now we're going to prove to you that the Gentiles, so-called Gentiles, that the disciples are speaking to and trying to, that YAHAWASHI or Jesus is trying to save, are Israelites, according to the Bible. Look at 1 Corinthians 10:1.
1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. And were up.
Right, he says, moreover, brethren.
Gentlemen, if I was trying to buy a pack of cigarettes, would I continue that way or that way?
Back that way.
There was nothing that way.
7-Eleven right across the street.
Right in here? Thanks. Appreciate it. God bless.
1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea.
Right, it says moreover, brethren. So, brethren, that word brethren there is adelphos, meaning a brother born under the same national ancestor. So, that in brethren there, it means the same nation. Doesn't mean the heathens. Doesn't mean other people. It only means Israel. It's talking about Israelites here.
It means Christians, huh? That's what they say. It means all the Christians, no matter what race you are.
Yeah. And it also, read it again up, it also further explains it in the rest of the verse, explaining exactly what nation it is.
All the brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud.
Right, all our fathers were under the cloud. It did go back to Abraham when it said that. It went back to, it did go back to Ishmael when it said that. It went back to Israel. All our fathers of Israel was under the cloud. Go on.
And all passed through the sea.
Right, all passed through the sea. Israel again, not the heathens. The Greeks weren't over there. It was majority, it was Israel who was given the commandments and who was under the cloud and who passed through the sea.
And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud.
Right, Moses in the cloud. So let me get
and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and because all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was YAHAWASHI.
Good. So there it is right there. Explains it over and over and over again about exactly who he's talking to, what people he's talking to, and what those people ancestors were. I want to talk about one nation, Israel. It explains it clearly in those verses, chapter 10. Let's get 1 Corinthians 12.
1 Corinthians 12:1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away.
Right. Brethren, I would not, Grace says brethren again. I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. So Christians talking about, so-called Christians today talking about, oh, you can be different. You don't have to be an Israelite. You could be a different bloodline. You could be white, orange, whatever. But how can you change who you are? Like if I'm born Chinese, I'm a Chinese man, how could I change who I am from being Chinese to another nation? It's impossible. So it says, ye were Gentiles. It means your state of mind. Not, it means, shit like it. Ye were Gentiles. Okay. It means your state of mind, but you still have the same bloodline.
You know that ye were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Okay. Carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Because back in them get Deuteronomy 28:64. We were led to dumb idols. Some of Israel was led to dumb idols because breaking of the laws was in Deuteronomy. We brought the Lord's statutes and commandments, and were led away into other nations. That's how we became in the Gentile state of mind. That's why the Lord, YAHAWASHI, you call Jesus, told us to, told the disciples to go into and speak into the Gentiles, meaning Israelites were in the Gentile state of mind because hundreds of years ago they were led away to dumb idols and taught different things.
Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Right. Egypt again with ships. Egypt means bondage, slavery. Again with ships. Just like in old Egypt. Then we were taught new laws, new gods, and we lost who we were. Let me see.
Sure, I guess you can.
I don't know. 28:64.
Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Right, that links up with what we just read earlier, Deuteronomy 28:68. Right. Back to Corinthians 12:1. Well, oh, you just saying that? Yeah.
I was saying the link back to that.
Yeah, come. Links back to Corinthians 12 and Deuteronomy 28:68. That shows you in Deuteronomy, the Lord prophesied that it was going to happen. He was going to go back, and now YAHAWASHI, what you call Jesus, is bringing us back into the fold, bringing his lost sheep back into the fold. I'm not sent but into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's the lost sheep came to get. Israelites in the Gentile state of mind. So,
Deuteronomy 28:36. The Lord shall bring thee, and thou shalt, and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, and a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. There shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Right, over and over again.
Corinthians 12:2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Right.
Carried away into these dumb idols, even as you were led.
Done. There it is right there. Plain. That's how you got to link back the scriptures with the Old Testament with the New, or you're not going to get the full understanding of it. If you just read certain verses, they say we cherry pick. We don't cherry pick. We read the whole Bible. It's like a puzzle. We just link the scriptures. We try to figure out the whole Bible. These guys, oh, I don't really know. I only know that the Lord loves everybody and He came for everybody. You got to know the whole Bible if you want to teach, man.
Isaiah 28 and 8. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Right. Whom shall he teach knowledge and to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk. Talking about spiritual milk, the scriptures, the word. Keep going.
For precept must be upon precept. Right. For precept must be upon precept. Right. Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Line upon line. Here little and there little.
Right. Precept must be upon precept. Line upon line. You gotta read it in order, as a whole, in story format. And then here a little and there a little. Gotta go back, cross-reference. You gotta study the Bible as well as read it over and over again. That's who the Lord's gonna teach. And if you do it that way, that's how you're gonna learn knowledge. What's say, who shall he teach knowledge?
Yeah, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Right. That's who the Lord's going to bless with knowledge and to understand the scriptures. If you do it that way.
Sirach 39 and 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out wisdom of all ancients and be occupied in prophecy. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men and will subtile, and where subtile parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he had tried the good and evil among men.
Right. If you do the scriptures the right way, all those things are going to happen to you. So serving upon great men, that's the men of the Lord. Travel. The kingdom come, we're going to be traveling. Travel now, out here in the highways and byways. Might go to different churches. Different cities. Meet a whole lot of different people.
I made him post
Learning the scriptures the right way open up a whole new world, a whole bunch of other things for you, a whole bunch of new stuff. Good idea? Where the fuck is 6:11? 6 verse 11.
Six and what?
6 verse 11.
2 Corinthians what?
6 verse 11.
To 15?
To 18.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 11. O ye Corinthians, our mouth is open unto you. Our heart is enlarged. Ye are not straightening us, but ye are straightened in your own bowels. Now for a recompense in the same, I speak as unto my children. Be ye also enlarged. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Of what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will dwell with them and walk in them, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them.
Right. Come out from among them. Should be their people. The Lord said, I shall be their God, and they shall be my people. So come out from amongst the Gentiles. Meaning come out from their philosophies, their state of mind. You could be a homosexual, you could worship any god you want, Kemet, the sun. Lord says, come out from out of all of that. Separate yourselves. Come back to the culture and the Lord God that your forefathers worship. Stop following the white man, Esau, and his gods. Stop following the Africans and their gods, the Canaanites. Come back to who your father served, the real God, the Most High. Come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how you separate yourselves from among the Gentiles. That's all you gotta do, just come back to the word of the Lord.
Hey man, what book is the Luke got? I don't know why I can't think of where it says now, man. Luke.
2-6.
Luke. What book is that?
Luke, it's an Apocrypha,
The
right?
Wisdom of Solomon?
It's an Apocrypha. Yeah, I think so.
No, it's Ecclesiastes is after that. Well, I can't find it right now.
I think it's a type. I think it's Baruch is a typo in my Bible. It's
I got it. No, never mind. I got it. Baruch, chapter 2, verse 28. As thou speakest by thy servant in the day when thou didst command them to write thy law before the children of Israel, saying, if you will not hear my voice, surely this great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I know that they would not hear me, because they are stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
Right.
But in the land,
hold on. Right. Turn into a small people among the Gentiles, as the slavery did to us. That's what the plagues did to us. You know, the diseases, the Black Plague. What was it? Smallpox. That the smallpox killed off the Native Americans.
also how they separated us and divided us into different nations. We are one nation.
Right. You were made weaker that way. That's a part of the reason why they was able to take us down. Because we went together. And all these diseases killed us off. That's part of the plague, that's part of the curse of the Lord.
Well,
hey, read a little bit up, Rob. Read a little bit up. Show us where you was, like 3 or 4 verses up.
And as thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write thy law before the children of Israel, saying, if you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
Right.
And
that's what's happening today. She tells you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments and get out of the Gentile state of mind, but it's a stiff-necked people. Israel doesn't want to listen. It wants everybody to be saved. Keep going up.
But in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
This is how you remember yourselves. Coming back to the good book, coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible.
That's something. Remember what it said in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. As ye were Gentiles, carried away, you were Gentiles, carried away by these dumb idols. Carried away to these dumb idols as you were led. So it said that, just like they said you were Gentiles, but you waking up, they were waking up. It's the same thing. In the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. The same, it's in the same thing. This, I was linking this up with the scripture I was just reading. It says, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their God. For I give them an heart and ears to hear. For I give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall be lords of me, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive away my people out of Israel, out of the land I've given them. Meaning, going back to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, it's verse 16, it says, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. It's the same thing, it says the same thing.